I'm just here to find this thing.
You're willing to go on a combat mission to find it. She's hoping it's cloaking technology. What do you think it is?
Something none of us have thought of yet.
Lookout for Charlie.
I am getting some serious interference. I'm going to try to fix this before I upload the video, see if I can get rid of it, because it's a rather annoying hum and a rather annoying frequency range. But got so much to talk about that I don't even know where to start. Some of you may know about the Justin Moan debacle, and I'm not going to get too far into that right now until I collect more evidence, really look at it. But you know, his roommates and his people around him said that he acted crazy and said the government was after him and whatever, and I have all the videos and I listen to all his music, and generally when that's happening to somebody, it consumes their lives. And even the songs titled Justin's Stalkers, they don't really go into what someone who would normally be dealing with something like that talk about. It's very strange to me. I can't really say whether this is an op or not yet, because it's just not adding up. None of it's adding up. I'm not seeing the red flags that I would generally see in a case where someone does something like this based on, you know, whatever. Him talking about being the president, chosen president by both parties, that would be something that someone would hear through Voice of God weapons. That makes sense. Some of that stuff that he talks about makes sense, and people go, oh, that's deranged. Well, that's the kind of stuff that people are told. But it almost sounds like a federal fantasy of what one of these people would be like rather than what they are like. But I'll leave it at that, and I'll get into more later as I really collect some evidence and really get into this. But there's just a lot going on right now, man. It's crazy. But I want to get into an email that was sent to me recently, and I'm going to answer the email in this video. Now, I blocked out the dude's eyes and his last name, but the email says, "You know more than you are saying." Now, I don't know if this is just means you know more than you are saying, or if they're trying to imply that I'm some sort of gatekeeper or some shit like that, or if it's even real, or if it's just somebody, you know, fucking around, trying to get me involved in some conversation with them, right? That happens too. You would be surprised. But I'm going to answer this. It says, you know more than you are saying. Jonathan, you are absolutely correct. You are absolutely 100% correct. I know a lot more than what I am saying. And the reason why is this. I work with facts, evidence, and things that I can prove. If I can't prove it, and I'm just spouting shit, things that I think are happening, that makes me 99.9% of the people out there making videos about things like this. And there are tons of things that I know to be true, as well as you know your address, as well as you know your phone number. I know these things to be true. However, I do not have the evidence or the proof yet to come out and say it. And that is why you don't hear me talking about certain things, because I cannot prove this stuff yet. You know, if I had a budget, if I had the money to get into this stuff and do it, I could prove all of this. And I have, you know, a handful of loyal people who donate to me on a regular basis, and I appreciate them very much. I won't say their names because of the subject matter, but I appreciate them very, very much. They have helped me do a lot. But, you know, with some of this stuff, what we're talking about proving, would take a lot more than the donations that I'm getting in at this time. But if I had the budget, I could prove a lot more and do this. However, I can't. And with that being said, I can't talk about that stuff, because when you open up a little tiny crack, you let all those rats and moles and disinfo agents in, and that's their job, is to come in and break it apart. And when you don't have the proof and you don't have the evidence, and I've seen it a million times in people's videos, when they come out with their theories, they get ripped apart, man. And you know, most of those theories are a little off base, some of them are a little bit wacky, but had they had proof, there's not a lot you can say. So you're correct. You are absolutely correct, Jonathan. I know a lot more than what I am talking about in these videos, because I can't prove it yet. But when I can, I will. Now, I explained that when I'm working with Voice of God weapons, with HARP, with these types of technologies, I'm working with facts. I've been looking into these other cases lately that really don't have anything to do with that. And I think this is my one chance where I'm going to talk about something that I don't normally talk about, since I said I work with facts and all that, and actually take this time where I can actually theorize and talk about something else and not have to be throwing facts in with everything. So I'm just going to clue you guys in on something that I've been getting into lately and checking out. I did this a couple years ago, actually, and it was vanished. But yeah, you know, this is one of those times where I can just theorize. Theorize and show you some of the evidence that I've found, because it doesn't concern the information and the subjects that I normally deal with. Which brings me to this. I'm going to actually talk about something. I know that there's something going on with it. I can't prove it yet, but I just find it a very weird, strange set of cases, and I just want to talk about it. I talked about it before. The video was immediately removed. I have no idea why. They never told me, hey, we removed your video. The video just vanished. It's just something that I can't prove yet, but I'm shocked that people aren't talking about it. You know, I'm shocked that people aren't putting the pieces together. If I told you of tales of people vanishing and then showing up jammed within radio antennas, there would be a rash of theories about what was happening. Aliens, portals, government experiments, you name it. There would be a rash of theories, but there just haven't been with this. It just blows my mind that people are not putting it together. Now, imagine this. 2 kids go missing and then are found in the center of 2 antennas. There would be wild ideas going on. But since the public has made it their mission to stay completely ignorant to where we are at a technological level, you remain the little peasants in the huts. All the signs are there, but you're just too far gone to put anything together. Your mindset is purposely dialed back to the Sherlock Holmes days. You have zero idea where we are technology-wise. You believe 5G is cutting edge, you know, that kind of shit. Except for, of course, the ideas being fed to you by the government. You see, the government never comes out and tells you what you should believe. They nudge people in the direction. Even the ones online posting, they'll post, you should do this, you should do that. Just go back and look at the FBI posts on 4chan and 8chan where they're telling people, you know, someone needs to save this for memes. Someone needs to do this before it's too late. Well, why don't you do it, dude? You know, they're always nudging people to do things. They don't do it. So, for example, when Paul Bennewitz stumbled on their acoustic and radio transmissions, they convinced him that those transmissions were alien. And he bought it, just like a good patriot would. When the government is experimenting with technology, they plant UFO stories. You know, when the government is experimenting with ELF, they pump up the ghost shows. And because the average person has no idea how close the intelligence agencies really are with Hollywood and the tech companies, they simply cannot put this together. See, when everything that you've learned is a lie from the foundation up, you're not an intellectual. You're a useful idiot. And sadly, most of the people who I grew up with are just that, useful idiots. And so is everyone else you know. People have said, I'm savage on this channel, you know, the way I talk to people. And as God is my witness, I am Mr. Rogers on this damn channel. I have dulled the blade down on my tongue to the point of G-rated material, in my opinion. And I'm not doing that anymore. I'm done. So let's talk about the cases that I want to kind of clue you in on. Like I said in the beginning when I was answering that email, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm just putting it out there. Joshua Maddox went missing back in May of 2008 in Woodland Park, Colorado, which is right next to Manitou Springs and that area. He was 6 feet tall, 150 pounds. He went missing for years and years and years. And they went to tear down a cabin, this old cabin, right? And they found his body stuffed in this chimney. Now, there's a problem with that. The owner had put rebar over the chimney so that no one could get down into the chimney, animals, and all these dumb, you know, Reddit theorists said, it probably rotted off. Well, it was put in a year or two before the kid went missing, so that's not the case. They found his body in the fetal position in this chimney. His clothes were neatly piled up in the cabin, inside the cabin, just like many missing 411 cases, shit like that, right? Very weird case. Now, a lot of people have the theory that someone stuffed them up in the chimney. If I gave you a passed out person, dead weight, I don't care if they're 5 foot tall and weigh 120 pounds or 6 foot tall and weigh 150 pounds, you are not going to stuff a body up in a chimney. There is no way. I grew up around fireplaces. They are very hard to get up into and work in. They are very hard to work with at all. It is not going to happen. So he couldn't have gone down the chimney, and he couldn't have gone up the chimney. None of it makes sense. It's very strange cases. Now, let's get into another case, and I'll show you more details. Now, there's a kid named Harley Dilley in Ohio, right on Lake Erie. Pretty smart kid. They made him sound like he was all ADD and crazy and whatever, but when you listen to him talk in his videos, he's very articulate. And he went missing and was also found in a brick chimney that was 9 by 13 inches. No one in their right mind is ever going to try that and do it. And once again, his clothing was found outside of the chimney. But no one is putting the Joshua Maddox and the Harley Dilley thing together. Let's listen to what this guy has to say about it. And I'm telling you, I've spent time on roofs. If you see the pitch of this roof in the middle of winter, no one's going to walk on that doesn't have to. And B, someone would have seen him.
Yeah, I got a feeling I'm going to get told to get out of here by the police, but I'm sitting here right now outside of the house that Harley supposedly died in, and I'll leave it. And I got to turn around. There is no way on God's green earth that this boy climbed this roof and nobody saw him.
And he's absolutely right.
There ain't no way. That's the front of this house, right there. And look.
So he climbed up that pitch. Now that doesn't look steep to the average person until you're on a roof. When you are on the roof, dude, that's a steep pitch. And people think that he just dove down in there. You know, they make up these conspiracy theories. He was found in the chimney with clothes stuffed through, allegedly pushed through this little hole that was a vent hole that was being renovated. Now I'm going to go through all the similarities in these cases in a minute, but check this out.
Look at that roof. Look at that roof, and the pitch in that roof. And then, these are all the houses across the street. You mean to tell me not a single person saw him? Bullshit. He did not climb that roof. There's no way in hell. And I'll go to my grave saying that.
Joshua Maddox did not go down that chimney 100% because it was a grate on top of the chimney. Now, I've talked about this before, but the cops come up with conspiracy theories, and they can't happen. It's impossible. Here is guy Chuck, who had built and worked on the cabin, talking about what he had done to the chimney and how there was no way that Joshua Maddox could have fallen or even climbed down into the chimney.
However, Chuck Murphy, the cabin's owner, has raised doubts about this theory. He mentioned that he had previously installed rebar at the top of the chimney to block animals, casting uncertainty on the accidental fall explanation. Chuck Murphy clarified that the rebar installation at the chimney top was done just a few years before Joshua went missing. Asserting the impossibility of Joshua entering the chimney, he stated, "There's no way that guy crawled inside that chimney with that steel webbing. He didn't come down that chimney." With Chuck Murphy's extensive experience in construction, his insights on the cabin's chimney are crucial. He confidently stated that Joshua couldn't have entered the chimney through the steel rebar from outside.
And now back to Harley Dilly. Harley Dilly, no way did that kid get up there and go down that chimney. But they couldn't have been put inside the chimneys either. There's something going on here. I don't know what it is. Since I got that email, I figured I'd put some information out just to get people thinking. Because I don't know what this is yet either exactly. But it's something that most people haven't thought of before, just like my intro said. So let's go over the similarities. Harley Dilly and Joshua Maddox both leave their house on foot, by themselves. So they leave their house on foot, walking, by themselves. They both leave alone. Alright? Now, they're both found within 2 blocks of their own home. Harley Dilly was actually right across the street from his home. They were both found in vacant/abandoned houses. Both of them. Both in vacant houses, both left on foot, both alone, both found between 2 blocks of their home, both found in a chimney that was impossible to get in or out of. There's a video out there of a mother who made a chimney, a cardboard chimney that was the approximate size, and this kid is actually a little bit smaller than Harley Dilly. And it's amazing because this thing barely slips over this kid. You think some kid is going to climb down a chimney like that? You are high. Both had removed clothing. They said that they suffocated because the chimney was too tight, yet these kids were able to take off their clothing and get them down into the house, the vacant homes, or the vacant cabin in Maddox's case. Both had missing clothing show up inside the vacant home. Both have mysterious causes of death. They don't know whether it's hypothermia or what they died of. You know, they have to write something. And, you know, when you really talk to a coroner these days, especially if you get one drunk in a bar and talk to them, they have a hard time dealing with the fact that a lot of cases now, there's like no cause of death. They have to write something, so they just take the easy way out. Both cases are unexplainable by conventional thinking. And both of them had no pants on. They were missing clothes. If they're trapped in these chimneys and they can't move, how are they taking off their clothes and stuffing them through tunnels and shit? It's just like these missing 411 cases that happen in the woods, except it's happening in suburban areas to people who take off walking alone. Now, there's a lot of these conspiracy theorists out there claiming that the parents did it to Harley, kept him in the crawl space, and then dumped him down the chimney. Well, try dragging a dead body, dead weight. So what they're saying is that somebody actually waited, took the body out of the crawl space, drug that dead weight up to the top of that house, and then dumped it down the chimney? And no one saw that? Not going to happen. There is something else going on here, and it's high strangeness. The cases are identical. The Joshua Maddox case and the Harley Dilley case are identical, and no one is putting that together. Now here's something that I'm talking about, just to get people thinking. You know, there are missing 411 cases where the person will go missing, and they'll find them like smashed between two rocks, where it's like impossible for them to get in between those two rocks, but the rocks hadn't moved. Shit like that. Very, very weird cases. The first thing that I thought of was, wow, bricks are batteries. And they can be used as batteries and hold a lot of power. I don't know where I'm going with that yet, but they hold a lot of power. And also, this house had a very, very, very large ham radio antenna when Dilley went missing. They claimed that he climbed up that antenna and got on the roof so that he could dive down the chimney when you could get into the house through the crawl space. It's ridiculous. But something is going on here. Something is going on here. And I believe that there's more to it than what people realize, because when you start comparing the Joshua Maddox case to the Harley Dilley case, they are identical in almost every single way. People may be ho-humming about that, but the future of energy storing devices is here. Red bricks. You can store a lot of energy in red bricks. And the experiments that they are doing with people on, in just the missing 411 cases are extraordinary. So think about it. Just think about it, and think about the fact that the Harley Dilley case and the Joshua Maddox case are twins. They are practically twins in almost every way. Again, both found in vacant houses that no one was living in. Both left their house on foot. Both left alone. Both found within 2 blocks of their house. Both found in a chimney. Both had removed clothing. Both had missing clothing show up inside the vacant home. Almost like a clue left that, yeah, there's something here that you might want to check out. Both have mysterious causes of death. Both are unexplainable by conventional thinking. And neither of them had pants or clothes on. It was all like torn away from them. And that happens in missing 411 cases all the time, where they find people and their clothes are, neatly piled on a rock, like in the middle of a stream somewhere or something like that. Very strange stuff. And people will say it's aliens and Bigfoot and all that bullshit. And you have to remember that when the government and people are nudging you to do things, this is no attack on David Paulides, but who were these agents, these government park people that came to him to talk to him and said, you're the guy to look into this? Because they knew he was MUFON. They had to know he was MUFON. They had to know he was into that kind of shit. They had to know that he was researching Bigfoot. They had to know something about him. Who are these guys? Can we interview these guys and ask them why they came to David Paulides to say you're the guy to do this? Because that is what the government does. That is what these agents do. They come to you and they go, you're the guy to look into this. Because the people that they want looking into it have all the right traits to angle it in a way where they can sell it to the public that aliens. It's the same thing that they did to Paul Benowitz and many, many other people. Yeah, we'll let you in on this. You should investigate this. You're the guy. You're the guy, or you're the woman to do it. You know what I'm saying? So there's something up with this case. I don't think we're going to get a lot much more information. But as time goes on, we are going to find that it stores much more than they're even letting on. It says here, according to a study released in Nature Communication, red bricks can also be used to store energy. Thanks to the red pigment within red bricks, they can be converted into efficient energy storage units. Essentially, the potential is there for the regular red bricks to act as batteries. The same kind of shit that I've talked about in the past. So this is something to really, really think about. And think about the fact that these cases are identical. Identical in every way. And that's it for now. Look out for Charlie.
I'm just here to find this thing.
You're willing to go on a combat mission to find it. What do you think it is?
Something none of us have thought of yet.
Look out for Charlie.